Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to Harlow Rain's Hangout. I know it's late, but today I wasn't having a good day. I was just depressed all day and just stayed in bed all day. But I did find a way to read graphic novels, to listen to music, to chat with my friends on the phone. And I just want to share this video with you because depression can be a vicious cycle, an ongoing vicious cycle that just creeps up on us. Um, and especially those who are diagnosed with depression like I am. And today I just wanted to withdraw from people. I did not want to be bothered with people. I did not want to interact with people. Um, but I did talk with my friends on the phone. And one thing I try to make myself do, despite the depression, is engage my mind, whether it's with a good audio book, whether it's read a book, or a hard copy, or to do video games, or to listen to music, or watch a puppy, dog, a kitten, baby animal videos, something to kind of lessen the intensity of the depression. Because let me tell you something, depression is very vicious and it is sneaky, it's very insidious. And I had to really make sure I wasn't being impulsive in any way. Um, and I did talk to my friend. I let her know, look, I'm having a bad day today. I just want to just isolate. I was supposed to go somewhere with one of my friends today, and I called it off. I like, no, I don't want to go anywhere. And lots of times when I am depressed, I don't really tell people why I don't want to go. I just like, oh, maybe another day. But some of my friends I am truthful with, like, look, I'm just having an off day today. I don't want to be bothered with people because I do value my solitude. But at the same time, it's okay for me to have solitude, but it's not okay when I start to isolate. Because when I isolate, I have a tendency to start going into a dark space where I start to see the world through a negative lens instead of through a optimistic or a positive lens, or at least a neutral lens. So I want those of you that's up late at night, and just a Friday night, usually people out dancing, having a nice time, but a lot of us, we live in isolation. I'm one of them because it's hard for me to interact with people sometimes, and I rather just be left alone than to deal with people's foolishness or the drama or trying to figure out who's who. And it's hard, especially on a Friday night. Saturday night is a lovely summer evening, and people are out doing what people do on the weekends. But those of us who live with depression, it is hard to get up and get out and interact with people because humans are very judgmental by nature. Most of them are. And if you're not willing to be the life of the party, they don't want to hang out with you. And so I learned to have friends in my life who are very supportive of me, who encourage me to read or play a video game or do something that I can enjoy doing at the house instead of having to force myself to go outside. But then sometimes they'll tell me, they'll suggest to me, why don't you just go for a little walk around the block? Walk to your favorite beach, because there are beaches within walking distance of here where I can go down to a lovely beach and sit by the water and meditate, or I can go into there's a huge park near here also that's near the beach. It's all in one, a beach and a park. And I can go and just be amongst the trees because the trees are very calming. But at the same time, I don't feel like even running into a human being on the sidewalk. That's how bad sometimes the depression gets, is when I don't even want to see another person on the sidewalk. And I think that's also stems from being called N words and B words and things like that, derogatory terms here in Seattle. And I've encountered that. And I think that has increased the bouts of depression at times to where it intensifies it, to where my paranoia kicks in. and I don't want to be bothered with people. I don't want to be around them. For one thing, they smoke. Some people smoking cigarettes or dope, and I don't want to be around that. So I just want to stay in my home and not be bothered with the world. And so I just wanted to leave you a little video here letting you know, look, today was not a good day for me. I had a very depressed day today, but I did make myself read a graphic novel, made myself listen to music, made myself interact with my friends. When they called me, I picked up the phone even when I didn't want to, but I'm glad that I did because it helps. I think even today someone called me from my insurance company, asked, they wanted to do like a health survey to see how I'm doing and whether I get out of the house. And I really didn't want to deal with the lady because she's kind of abrupt and she would just interrupt me when I'm trying to reply to her questions. And I finally got agitated a little bit and I just overtalked her like, look, you the one that disturbed my day. That's why I was thinking in the back of my mind. And when I'm depressed, I don't have patience dealing with the public. And this is going on 48 hours without sleep. Because lots of times when I go into depression, I don't want to sleep. It can be kind of depressed and manic. Even though I live with depression, sometimes I do get slightly manic, energized, but not like manic where I'm out there doing impulse buying or something crazy out there in the street. No, it's sometimes I feel really energized and I'm on top of the world and just skipping along, so to speak. But there are days where the depression can be so bad that I don't want to I don't even want to uncover, I don't even want to open my eyes. This morning I didn't, fortunately I was up all night, but I'm one of those people sometimes I don't like waking up to the morning. I don't like waking up at all. And that's when I could tell the depression is really bad. And I have a suggestion, when you feel like that, talk to somebody, one of your friends. You don't have to talk to a professional. Just call up your favorite friend and maybe they might suggest that y'all go out and do something together. Don't isolate. Even if you stay home, like I didn't leave the house, and but I do interact with my friends on the phone when they call, or I might call them, or I make sure I watch my favorite videos, my puppy and animal videos, and do things that kind of bring me some type of pleasure, even in the midst of depression. And that's a good thing to always do, because even if you don't leave the house, there's things, your pastimes that give you pleasure. And they may not give you as much pleasure when you're feeling depressed, because a lot of times when I'm depressed, my pastimes don't give me that much pleasure, but I'm persisting at it because what it does, it distracts me from feeling blue. It lessens the intensity of the depression to where I go from I don't want to be here to, hey, you know what? Let me check out this book. I haven't read this book. Let me check out this book. It's been on my shelf for a while. Or I might, try a new video game or do something that distracts my mind from the depression, from going into a deeper crevice, so to speak, of depression, to try to pull myself up some to where at least it's on a plateau. And I'm not going dark, 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 because when it gets really dark, that's when I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be bothered with people. I don't want to be bothered with my pastimes. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink water. I don't want to stay hydrated. It's just I want to sleep all day. And because I deal with insomnia, that's out, And so it could be a vicious cycle, but know that you're not alone. Also, I take time to breathe. I have to make sure I breathe when I'm dealing with depression because I notice that the breathing, mindful breathing, it centers me and it brings my mind, my body, and my soul back together as one. Because when I'm in the midst of depression, I'm fragmented. My soul is fragmented from the body and the mind to where, I just feel all over the place, overwhelmed. So the breathing, just taking time to do a deep breath and to just breathe, just be, come home to self, especially when in the midst of depression, those of us who live with depression and you're feeling really blue and you don't want to get out of bed, just take some time to breathe, come home to yourself, come home. Because at least the breathing will get you grounded. And it grounds me. I took a little time and did a few in and out breaths earlier, a few minutes ago before I started this video to get centered. And it brings me back home to self. It brings me back to the present where I'm not fretting about what's going on, what happened yesterday, or what's happening for next week. Yesterday's gone and next week it's not here. All I have is the present. And I reiterate on that a lot because with depression, I notice I live in my head and I want to escape. So in order to come out of my head, I take time and just do a few in and out breaths. Just breathe. Normal. I don't try to alter the breath or the volume of the breath. Or the frequency of respirations. I just be, but my mind is on my breath. And it brings me back home to self. And lots of times I close my eyes when I do it because then I can focus on the breath itself. Because I'm very visual, and so I can easily become distracted by what I see in my visual field, or in my field of vision. So I close my eyes. Just sometimes you just gotta close your eyes and breathe when the world gets too hectic or when the blues get a little bit too heavy. Just take some time and breathe. I know I need to go to this bed because I am tired. I'm sleepy, and I look like I'm half asleep. But take some time to breathe and love yourself. We will get through this depression. Tomorrow is going to be a better day for me, just like tomorrow will be a better day for you. The trick is holding on to self through breath. And that's what lessens the depression. And even just making a video of it. Some of you may have YouTube channels or start a YouTube channel and just share your day like what they call that, like a vlog, a VLOGGER, like a vlogger, when you use videos to keep a journal, because anything to take your mind out of that blue zone, that blue-gray zone is what I call it, of depression. And it's hard. It's hard, especially those of us who are kind of isolated. We don't have much of a social life because of disability or because of lack of friends locally. Because my friends don't live in Seattle. They're out of town. They're out of state. So, I've known these people, like some of them I've known over 20 years. And we still going strong. And so it's not that, I cannot keep friends. It's just this area is just difficult to make friends here in Seattle. It is very difficult to make friends. I've lived here going on since 2013, about 12 years as of October. And it is very difficult to make friends here because there's a lot of passive aggressive behavior here. So I don't fool with people from Seattle. I'll ask them straight up, "You from Seattle?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm from Seattle." I fade to black because they're not gonna be around. I've experienced 12 years of that shit, and excuse my language, but they will disappear. And I don't know, maybe we just don't jive or vibe. I don't know. I wish them well and keep it moving. But my friends are mainly out of the East Coast with my family, and then I have spiritual family down in California who I cherish. California people are friendly. I had some of my best years. I lived in California for 27 years. I moved up here for the rain and to get away from all the crowds and stuff like that. But I still like interacting with people on occasion and socializing. And as someone who deals with depression, I have to really be mindful of trying to make time to interact with others, to engage my mind, because the depression is hard. It's hard living with depression, and also I cannot take the medications because too many side effects. The side effects outweigh the benefits, and I've spent 40 years working with various doctors on various combinations of psych meds, and it worked for maybe a couple of weeks, and then after a while I gained weight rapidly and become obese. I had to lose a whole lot of weight because of being on antidepressants. I became obese and I started having other health related issues tied into the psych meds. But there is a combination of medications out there that will work for many people. It just doesn't work for me. So I take herbs that I formulated, such as valerian and a combination of valerian and lavender and catnip. I call it nervies because it does take the edge off of the depression and it calms down my nervous system, which can become overstimulated because we have all these screens and lights and bells and whistles, and I didn't have that 40 years ago. So the world was much calmer. It wasn't all this electromagnetic frequencies in the air, which can also disturb your energy balance and it can affect your moods. That's why if you have to keep your phone near your bed, put it on airplane mode. Because I notice for some reason, if I'm dealing with depression and that phone is near my head, it just makes me feel even more lower. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Um, but lessen screen time. Engage in a book, or if you use a screen, use it to read a book like I did. I got caught up in the Punisher series. I'm a big fan of Garth Ennis, Frank Castle, the Punisher. I've been a fan of his for about 20 years now, going on 20 years, and I really enjoy his work. Um, you gotta have a strong stomach though for his graphic novels. Um, but sitting here talking with you, making this video, has put me in a better mood. And I'm glad I did it because I didn't want to do it. I just did not want to. And I was supposed to have done some content during the week, and I didn't because of depression. Depression is a beast, and it can rob you of your life. It can rob you of your friends. It can rob you of your social life. It slowly depletes the soul's energy. And so I have to force myself to engage, whether it's with books, with people, excuse me, with my friends, or with videos. It has to be something that forces me to come up out of here and go outward instead of living in my head. Because a lot of times I live in my head. And the way I distract myself from living in my head is breath work. Coming home to self, getting out of the imaginations, coming home to self, and not trying to see the world through tainted lens. Because another thing, when I'm depressed, I notice that I'm slightly more paranoid. Not paranoid where everything is out to get me. No, I'm a little more hypersensitive to people's energies and how they interact with me. And for me, if I think I'm going to be negative, I don't go around people. I don't go around people at all. If I think I cannot contribute anything to their day, I just avoid people until I can get it right, until I could take time to do some breath work and look within and see what's going on. But I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by and allowing me to share a little bit of what I've been dealing with lately, these past few days. And I know I promised, to be here more often. But this week was one of those weeks where I was just dealing with depression and I didn't want to be bothered. And that's not a good way to be, because you guys have been rocking with me since 2020, since the COVID days. And you've been going strong and you've been loyal. And I need to learn to be consistent and come here and put something up here. Because I know, I know earlier yesterday, I was talking to my friend about an article I read in the local paper. We have a little community blog in my neighborhood, and has been a rash of people stealing a certain model of cars, Hyundais and Kias. And I said to my friend, I said, I think I ought to do a PSA and just put it up on YouTube to encourage people to do what they need to do to protect their cars, such as download the most recent onboard software update for a Kia or a Hyundai. Um, and so, and I'm going to do that down the road. I really am going to do that, because I did write down um, a few notes on what I want to talk about and provide you guys some information as well as links on where you can go and take care of that if you own a Kia or a Hyundai that's was manufactured between 2011 and 2022. But we talk about that another time soon, soon. But thank you so much for sharing with me your time to come here and listen. So you have a good day, a good evening. Enjoy the remainder of your weekend. And I hope to be back soon. And I look forward to seeing you again. But before we get up out of here, let's do a little breathing to set the tone for the evening, to prepare as we get ready for bed. So a few in and out breaths. Okay. 3, 2, 1. In breath. Out breath. Breathe. Be still. And just breathe. Come home to self. Feel the presence of your body. Reconnect with your mind, your body, your soul. Breathe. Relax the body. Relax into the breath. Fall into the embrace of the breath. Allow the breath to hold you and to embrace you. Okay, now open our eyes. Come back to the present where we're at. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for stopping by.